In this part of the tutorial, we're going to go over adding code so that we can add in this zoom in picture on top of our storyline or above our storyline project. So the first thing that I want to go over is a few details on positives and negatives. So one of the maybe not necessarily horrible things, but not great, is that I don't have this set up to be responsive. It's not going to work well on mobile. I basically just have it set up for my laptop resolution. So this kind of project would work really well if everyone is using the same type of computer and same type of browser and all that type of thing. But you can definitely make multiple versions of this to make it to make it work for you, or you can do adding code to make it more responsive. And then the second negative is the picture that I discussed before. So so this is not actually inside of the storyline file, as you could have told from the first tutorial. So we're adding it in separately. Totally, if you figure out how to get the image in and manipulate it from inside storyline itself, that would be awesome, and let me know. I have not tried it just because I figured that it would be way too complicated and probably take much longer of a tutorial. So this is going to remain like this. And I want to go over a few of the things that we're going to be doing. So as I said before, this is the script that we're going to be putting into our storyline story.html file. And the way that I have it set up here is the image is first, and then the jQuery is at the bottom. Generally, we would attach scripts in the head, but because this is JavaScript, its best practice is to put it in the bottom right before the body closing tag. And because we're using jQuery and we're using another version, we want to have the jQuery first so that it loads the jQuery, and then we want to have our special Zoom jQuery script second, because it has to, it won't work unless we have regular jQuery added first. And then we have our very specific one that's going to trigger everything to work together. And I want to show you the difference between this minified jQuery versus the regular jQuery. So what I'll do is I'll show you that. And so the one that we're attaching, if you go to that web address, it looks exactly like this. And the reason that we're using the minified one is because it will load faster. If it's not minified, you can see how far you have to scroll down. It will take much longer to load. So the difference is all the spacing and everything is taken out, so it makes it load a lot faster. So now we'll go into actually editing the code from your published file. So what you want to do is you want to locate your published file, and ours is called Zoomy version 2. And you can see right here we don't have that image in there, and we definitely want to have that image in there. And I will go ahead and grab that from our other area. So I'm going to go grab the factory image and then copy that and then paste it into this Zoomy 2. And the text editor that we're using today is Sublime Text. You can use a regular text editor, but I totally recommend Sublime Text. And what we want to do is we want to create a text file that is the zoom.js. So like this one here. So what I want to do is I'll just create a brand new file for this, and I'll copy this in. And this is where you're going to do a little bit of editing. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to call it zoom2.js. And I'm going to save this to my Articulate project. Let's see. And it has to be saved in the same folder here where the story is, because that's where we're going to call to it. And so we want to put in the URL here, the URL of our picture file. And that's really the only thing you're going to change on here. So I'll give you guys this code and you can just change that piece that I have highlighted to whatever the name of your image is. So this one is factory.jpg. And then the second piece of this is we're going to edit the story file. So let's go ahead and do that in your Zoomy thing. And right click if you have Sublime and open with Sublime Text. And here, this is where we're going to make a few changes. Some of the things that I did differently, like my background color is a little bit different, I went ahead and changed that, and you want to change that down here in this JavaScript. So right here, this is where you can change the background color, so you just want to change that to the hex code that's for that. And then I want to have my window be transparent so that you can't see anything. So I change this to transparent in this string here. And then now we're going to go ahead and add some of that script in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to my old files and copy and paste exactly where it is. So what I'll do is copy this script, and we called it Zoom 2. So let's just change it here. It doesn't really matter. We'll go back and change that later. Zoom 2, and then put it right next to the closing body tag in the story file. So story.html, let's go ahead and find the closing body tag. So we will go ahead and paste that in right there. And my syntax is like absolutely crazy, but okay. We'll just do that for now. When in reality, actually, it should be over here. We'll move it over. Okay. So now what we're doing here is we've attached our two libraries here, and then we have the script that we just saved. And if we go to view it now, nothing's going to happen because we still have to add in the image. So let's go to our test, and we have to add in this image here. And I'm trying to remember where I added it. Let's see. I think I added it like right when the body tag starts. So what I want to do is look for the body tag. I could do a find and just find it, but there's the body tag. So what I want to do is add this in. I think put it right here and see if that works well. And I want to view this and see what it looks like so far. All right. So we can see this works, and then the stage area is all the way down here. Another way that you could do this too is you could create your own website file, like I did with this test, and you could embed the story file in there too. So you could do that too. So that's just a different way of doing it. But we're working right in this story file just because we've already got this set up. So what I'll do is I want to do some CSS and some style to move this over here, and also to move this up. And we don't want it to scroll, so I might just turn the scrolling off. What I'm going to do is go back into the story.html, and we're going to configure some of that. And up at the top here, we have a style tag that's pre-added in here, and we know that the object is in the body and the picture is in the body. And what I did was, and this is not proper or best practices, but we'll try this. So we want to do padding left, and let's do that like 30%. Oops. We'll see what happens. And this is just me kind of hacking this. It's not like the proper way to do it. So you can see I moved the image over by 30%. And then what I want to do is I want to move this up more, maybe over. Well, actually this is moved over, and so this probably moved over too. So let's see if I can get that over. Oops. And I think we can do this with CSS. So we'll add CSS. This is me just thinking through because I can't quite remember exactly what I did before. So what I did was I created a class called image. So in your div tag that's around this image, I added a class. So if you put class equals that image, I can go ahead and add that up here. So I would do dot image because the dot equals the class. And then I would probably do like padding top, and I'll just do padding top. And I'll just do 1% and see what that looks like. So it moved down a little bit, and then I will do padding left, and I think I did like 5%, so we'll just do 5%. And then I want to move this over, so maybe I will do this, that, let's see. And then you just kind of got to tweak it a little bit until it works. And then maybe I would change like, so you can change the width and the height here too. And I can change this to like 740 and this, let's do like 375, oops. And then I can also say there's something about scroll bars, and I'm just going to put scroll bars as false and see how that works. So now the scroll bar is gone. This is actually like a lot better. So the scroll bar is gone, and that's great. The storyline like flash object right here it's all right. It's maybe could be pushed over a little bit. This image is pretty almost centered. So let's go ahead and I'm going to change this back to 30 because I think it will probably look better like that. So that's, I mean, it's pretty good. You can just tweak, the padding in the body and image tag. The image tag is only going to move the image over or up or down with the padding. The body tag, when you add the padding in there, it's going to move the whole entire thing because the body encompasses all of this here, and the dot image encompasses just this. Alright, so I know that took super, super long, but hopefully it was a little bit helpful. I definitely don't highly recommend doing this unless you're going to be using this image on every single slide. And also, I would say unless you're using the same exact screen resolution for everything, because it'll definitely be tricky if you add different ones. And hopefully that was helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.